Almost every video you see out there talking about the easiest way to make 5, 10, 50,000 a month with a faceless side hustle is not giving you the whole picture. And the reason I know most of these are holding back is the same reason I've been able to generate an average of $149,000 a year with real faceless businesses, as you can see there. And I've been doing it for over 6 years. So if you've ever wanted to make money online but have struggled to generate sales, let me ask you a quick question. What if you could earn income even if people don't buy anything from you? Now that might sound strange and it totally flies in the face of what everybody teaches, but if you stick with me for about 48 seconds, I'm going to show you exactly how I've been able to make that happen with my own faceless businesses. But I'm going to do a lot more than just tell you about how this system works in this video. First, I'm going to show you a 3-step simple process that can actually work to make money online. Then I'm going to break down what a real faceless business is, because like I said, this is not what you're being shown today. And then finally, I'm going to show you one of my most profitable faceless businesses that is still producing sales today. But I have to warn you, it is pretty weird, and that is not hype. In fact, I've been frequently asked not to talk about this at parties. All right, so my name's Johnny Andrews, and for over 20 years, I've been quietly making my living online. Now, you probably haven't heard of me, and you'll be able to figure out why in just a second here. But before I figured out this faceless business model, I was doing a lot of the same stuff that you see influencers doing today. I was making videos, I was going to conferences, I was building an audience, I was constantly on this hustle treadmill, and I was working, it could be sometimes 10, 14 hours a day. I was definitely working 6 to 7 days a week. And when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, that pace seemed pretty reasonable, right? But then all of a sudden this insane thing happened. I ended up getting married and we had our first daughter. I know, cuteness, right? It's crazy. And I did not want to be the dad who was always working and missing out on life with my little girl. And I pretty quickly realized that I needed to find a completely different way of making money. So even with my background, I had to get back into the trenches. This was me starting at square one. I had to buy a lot of courses. Lots of that stuff looked promising, and you've probably run into this too, but it didn't actually make any money. And so it got frustrating. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong with all this kind of stuff? But I did figure out this one little thing that I think might help you here. And so I figured out why none of this stuff seemed to work. And I'm going to share that with you right now, and then I'll get into one of my actual businesses. So let's take this little thing called print on demand. It goes by POD for short, and we'll use it as an example. Now, this is a very simple concept. It's one of the revenue streams I've been able to figure out for my own faceless business. Now, typically, print on demand is taught. It's a very straightforward 3-step process. All right, you're going to create a design, and these days you can do that with AI, or you can use Canva or something like that. Whatever you want to do, it can be very simple. You can upload it. You're going to list it like platforms like Printify, Printful, and those are just 2. There's a bunch of them out there. All right, then you can market and sell it. So you'll run maybe Facebook ads to people who probably like your design. When somebody buys, that platform is going to print it and ship it, and then you keep the profits. Right? Sounds simple. Absolutely sounds simple, and the process actually can be. That's why I was showing it. It's a pretty simple process there. And I've even been able to do pretty decently when I use that stuff in my faceless business model. And you can see there, that's just under $106,000. But I did this differently. All right. And I'm going to get into this in just a second. So here's what most people won't tell you about print on demand, or even most of these businesses in general. All right. Low success rate, meaning you have to go into this expecting that you're going to have to make a lot of designs to get an audience to buy. And sometimes it's going to be, 20, 30, 50, maybe even 150 plus before you find one that sells even mildly well. And then because of that, there's minimal profit. So there's not a ton of money in this. You're doing a lot of work and you're taking a lot of time and you're not blowing up probably like you were expecting or like somebody told you would. And then what happens is, of course, yes, there is in fact the rare big win, which is kind of what everybody wants from day one, but that doesn't happen right away typically. All right. So if you find a design that's awesome, that blows up, you can sell the crap out of it. It's super cool. So it is possible. Absolutely. So if you've ever been watching a video kind of like you are right now, and you got super excited and tried making money online and it didn't work out, it's really not your fault, right? Because pretty much everybody, they're all focused on selling their product. They kind of forget to mention some of the realities of this thing. All right. So I know how this feels firsthand. I've been through it a ton, but there is a thing about this. I finally got it to work. And the trick was very simple, but no one was talking about it. I was able to make more of these kinds of opportunities work because I added them into my faceless business. And in just a few minutes here, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So let me clarify. Most of what you're being taught or you see online, these are short-term gimmicks or tricks. These are things that are going to exploit this temporary little fad happening on social or something like that. You've probably seen stuff like this, right? You get tons of videos like, get followers, make money, use this hack, you can do it really quick, blah, blah, blah. All right, now sometimes these are actually solid ideas. I'm not going to try to tell you that they're all garbage. They're not. They're not. In fact, I love watching those videos personally. All right, but almost 100% of these hacks are really temporary at best. Seriously, at best. All right, so unfortunately, Sometimes those changes can happen by the time you hear about whatever that opportunity is, because that program is still making a lot of money for the person that created it. And we'll just be nice and say they just forgot to take it down. Okay. Well, I want you to consider something for a moment. The Faceless business I'm about to show you started over 10 years ago. All right. And this is a business that I began with 0 followers, 0 products, and 0 website. And the one reason, well, not the one, but one of the main reasons I picked this market was because I wanted to do something that was completely different than what everyone else was doing. Pretty much, and it hasn't changed to this day, but pretty much everybody is talking about, going to the make money market or the weight loss market or the relationship market. I'm like, that is so played out. I don't want to do that anymore. The other piece of this was I didn't want to be that guy who only made money by teaching people how to make money. Now, again, there's a time and a place for that kind of thing, but I just didn't feel comfortable not having any kind of street cred to do something like that. All right. So back in 2011, I decided to give this stuff a shot. All right. And I started by creating a very simple social media page for a particular kind of fan. And remember, I did in fact warn you, this is weird. All right. Here we go. I created a fan page dedicated to lovers of vampire books, and it was something that I later learned was called paranormal romance. And at the time, there was a lot of excitement still hanging around because of those Twilight books and those movies. Now, they had come out years before, and I just noticed, hey, look, this is still happening. I wonder if I can make something work with this, all right? It's literally called I Love Vampire Novels. It still exists today. I sold it a couple of years ago, and it's still cranking along. It's absolutely fantastic, and this is the basis for absolutely everything that I have been doing all of these years. Now, what was crazy about this was the page started actually going viral, and one of my favorite parts was I didn't have to make the content myself. All right, so this would be the 2011 equivalent of having a faceless YouTube or TikTok account today. All right, now, when I started this, I want you to realize I had no idea about anything with this market. I didn't even know it was called paranormal romance. I mean, I know everybody says, hey, you want to research your niche before you get into it. My research was, I wonder, okay, and I just did that. So I will admit, I did get lucky with this particular first one. All right, so here we are. The fans are, growing. The posts are going viral. Stuff is great. They were obviously spending tons of money on a lot of stuff. I mean, not just the books, but they're talking about stuff that they're buying all the time. But there was just one big problem with this, and that is they were not spending that money with me. It was super frustrating, and I ran this for quite a while, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I was about to give up, and then I'm like, you know what? The need, going into this market in of itself was just super crazy. What if I had another crazy idea? And it was, if I couldn't sell brands to my audience, what if I sold my audience to brands? And that shift literally changed my entire life. And my results, and again, these are my results, but they were super awesome. So this is what started with a simple social page. And over the years, it's grown into a business. This is what kickstarted my Faceless empire. It's generated over $1 million in sales. And that's, again, over time across multiple Faceless businesses. And it still brings in sales to this day. All right. Now, hold up a second. 2011. If you're a fan of math, you might be noticing that's more than 6 years ago. All right. So if you notice that discrepancy, you would be correct. And I'll just kind of come clean. I haven't been telling you the whole truth. All right. I know. Shame on me, right? So the method I'm teaching you inside this program actually did start in 2011. It's been generating sales ever since. I have cloned it, replicated all over the place very quietly without making a video like this up until now. So the reality is I never took screenshots back then. Seriously, I didn't have any intention whatsoever of creating a course from this. I'm just like, hey, I wonder if this is a thing. So I'm just going to talk about the revenue I made so I can show you like my shopping cart over a 6-year period. I hope you're cool with that. All right. But there's also more that I haven't been able to clarify yet. So I'm going to take a minute and clear the air here. So I did say earlier, you maybe remember me saying this, work with brands. Okay. So a lot of people have some preconceived notions about that it's, making a lot of phone calls, spending hours in negotiations, dealing with groups of people who can't decide to buy anything. I call this death by committee, by the way. Or you could spend months of agonizing work, stress, and frustration, and you just kind of get like a little bit of money. Or sometimes you can get a lot. It really depends on what you're doing. But here's the thing. That is normally how it works. This is how most people teach how to get brand sponsors. Now, this is actual good news, okay? I do not do it like that. I absolutely cannot stand, and this is a very personal thing, I cannot stand to grind on that kind of stuff. I just don't want to. I have no interest in it, and so I'm not going to teach it to you because I don't know how to do it, okay? I know how to do it a totally different way. So part of what you're going to learn inside of my program is exactly this, how I figured out how to attract a special sort of brand and have them reach out and ask to buy stuff. Okay, so newsflash on this. If you remember that question I asked you at the very start of this video, what if you could get income even if people didn't buy from you? Well, I just showed you one of several ways this can be done. All right, because the kind of faceless business that I've been able to figure out over these years, it allows for multiple ways of generating income, and not all of them require your audience to buy stuff from you. It's kind of nice, right? So in fact, a lot of these ideas, and this is straight up true, a lot of these ideas that I came up with for making money with my faceless business, they actually came from the brands asking me if I could help them reach more customers. It was pretty cool. And so this is why I was able to generate sales from brands years before this whole print on demand thing had even been invented. So I started this in 2011. Print on demand didn't show up until I think it was like late 2013 or 2014. So it was years later. Yes, I know I'm like a grandfather on the internet or something. It's nuts. All right. So I'm going to teach all that stuff inside the course. But now let's kind of, put a damper on this. Before you get excited, you jump in. I want to be really clear about some stuff. Okay. This whole success thing that I'm talking about, first of all, it's my success. I'm not promising anything to anybody. And also, and this is especially true, success does not show up just because you bought a training program. I'd love it if it did, but it just doesn't, okay? So the big secret here is you have to do stuff and put in the time, effort, and energy. No matter how simple something says it is, it's always, you have to do something, okay? We're all adults here. I just want to be really clear about that. Now, there is a bit of a caveat to this. You can build success from the ground faster if you're following the right system. So even if you're new, you can build this success on the backs of small wins, because with the right blueprint, with the right guidance, you can finally put that time, effort, and energy into the right things that might even produce the right result. Okay, so this, again, example only, this is how stuff works. This is how stuff grows. It's not consistent, it's not every day, and it starts small. And what happens is, because success isn't this massive win immediately out the door, the vast majority of people quit before it could even has an opportunity to show up. It's really devastatingly sad. I blame social media. All right. Yeah, it's everybody has, it seems like so many people have the attention span of a goldfish. All right. It does take time. Please understand that. Nothing anyone can teach you. There's nothing that can be done about that. And so that's just a real truth here. All right. So this is work on, things other than paranormal romance. And it's like, you can really go out and do this almost anywhere. All right. And so, and not to put the cart before the horse, but I have a whole bonus in the program, 100 profitable niche markets. I have a very specific formula that I use when I look at what market I want to go into. And I went and I used, shockingly, AI, just like I'm going to teach you. And I went in there and I created a bonus where here's 100 markets that fit that criteria. All right. So the power of the system I discovered is why I showed you my print on demand numbers earlier. Okay. So I didn't earn that 105,000 the way most people are teaching. I didn't spend hours creating hundreds of designs and pouring money into ads. Those sales happened passively over time as one of the revenue streams that I figured out you could button into this kind of stuff. All right. So I want to be very real again. My print on demand did not sell very well. Like, I'm not going to go create a course just on print on demand because I was kind of awful at it. And if I had done it the way that people were teaching, I would have completely crashed and burned. So it only worked because I made it a passive part of my faceless business. And I just got to the point where I'm like, well, are they selling sometimes? Okay, great. Let's just let it ride. All right. Now, struggling with all this technology, can this still be done? I know that's a huge question. Now, in 2011, when I started this, it was actually very hard to figure this out. It was like, oh my word, I don't know what to do. I didn't know. There was nobody teaching this. Let's put it that way. All right. So now today, fast forward a ton of years between the templates and the systems and AI coming out, as long as you're willing to learn, take action, and actually do stuff and keep going, I've never seen anything made simpler. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying this is very simple stuff, especially when you're working with AI. All right. So now that's enough of me blathering on without just showing this thing to you. What exactly is a faceless business? Now, when I had started this, I never heard of a thing called a newsletter business, but these are real normal businesses. This is a real business model, and some of them are massive. So I'll show you some of these just so you can see, hey, these are real and they're out there and people do them. Okay. They didn't take a course that I did. Okay. So this is The Hustle. You've probably heard of this. Totally faceless, 15 million a year. Morning Brew, 50 million a year. Then you've got The Skim, somewhere between 12 to 15 million a year, that kind of thing. All right. So yay, that's amazing. Well, I want to give you a fast news flash. Nothing I'm doing is making that much money. And I don't think that anything you do will either. Let me just pause for dramatic effect. All right. Just being completely transparent. It's not because I think that I'm not capable or you're not capable. It's literally because I don't want to do it. Because in order to make that kind of massive money, you usually need to put on a business suit and go meet with a board of directors. And I'm not into that. This is why I have multiple faceless businesses, because I would get each one to a point where I'm like, you know what? I think it's time for a new one, because if I want to make more money with it, I'm going to have to really start getting involved and selling in ways that I don't want to. All right. Because remember, I got into this whole thing because I wanted to spend more time with my kids. And if I just, it was easier for me to just cookie cutter these out. So it's up to you what you do with your faceless business if you choose to start. Okay. So rather than sell this stuff personally, I'm just going to cookie cutter this stuff out. And that's why I now have several of these. Okay. So let me show you what this looks like. And this is an example only, but this is why so many times what people try to do falls completely on its face. All right. Because they don't understand that this is a business. Okay. These little hustles are not the little tricks are just fads. Okay, so you have your main business where you're able to service these customers and these brands and things like that. Well, you got to get traffic to it, right? Okay, so then we can talk, and again, example only, lots of different social places. I just picked Instagram because it fit in the space. All right, so you're going to get traffic from Instagram. Awesome. Well, maybe you want some more traffic. Okay, great. TikTok. Could be YouTube, could be Facebook. Doesn't matter. All right. Oh, let's try to make some money. Okay, we're going to do some sponsorships next. And then we're going to do something like affiliate sales, and then we're going to do print on demand because I've been talking about it this whole video. All right, this is what it is. It's almost like pin the tail on the donkey. All right, you don't just have the one thing. You have your core business, and then you have things that drive traffic, that build your audience, and you have other things that are going to produce revenue. Now, each one of these things, you can button into it, and then you can, pieces of it, automate it, and outsource it, and you can use AI, so it's all very, very simple and basic. But that's really all you're doing. Most people don't do this, and this is why that even if something does work, it usually falls over. Yet somehow, some way, mine have been working since 2011. Shocking, right? Maybe I don't know. He's too old. He can't know anything, right? So why am I teaching this stuff now? I think that's a fair question to kind of get into here. So when I first started this stuff, it took a lot of time, effort, and energy to get them going. Because like I said, nobody was teaching this stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm just like, I wonder what this does. And there was lots of failure, all right? And when I say hands-free, I very much mean mostly hands-free. Every single business that is worth businessing, you have to get in there and do some stuff sometimes. It doesn't have to take up your whole life, okay? But in the beginning, it took up way more of my life than I was hoping for. But once I figured it out, it was kind of like, okay, cool. All right, so my goal, if you haven't noticed, is to sell you a training course. Now, in order to do that, the internet has told me that I need to be able to say the words, you can quickly and easily create an online business, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know if you can tell by my coloring, but I don't look good in the orange jumpsuits, and I absolutely didn't want to get sued by the United States government for false advertising, because I've heard that is not fun. So I've actually held off on teaching this stuff until now, right? Because with AI, which came out pretty recently, what used to take days and weeks and all sorts of time, this can be done in seconds to minutes. It really does take a lot of the pain and suffering out of creating these businesses. Seriously, I've been using this stuff. I giggle like a schoolgirl because it is that awesome. All right. So the other reasons are my daughters are older. They don't need dad around like they used to. You know, it was a good time. It's awesome. They're still cute and small. But I really do love teaching this stuff. And I've been very much behind the scenes for a very long time. I don't know if you've noticed the time span on this particular video, but I haven't been out there, and I do enjoy doing it. And so I kind of, backed off from all of that stuff so that I could raise these little rugrats, let's call them. All right, so enough of me. Let's get into what's in this book, in this course. All right, so first I'm going to take you deeper into what these things are, how they work. I'm going to do this by showing you even more of some of my faceless businesses. Now, not all of them, my word, I'm not nuts. I'm just a little quirky, okay? So I'm going to give you the very exact criteria that I use when picking a market, okay? So then we're going to get into this rapid fire AI market selection. I highly recommend you use AI because it makes things so much faster and easier. So I'm going to give you all of this stuff, and I'm going to give you the AI prompts that myself, my team, we all use it. And this is actually very important. I'm going to show you what to avoid, because there are very specific markets that you absolutely want to stay away from. And unfortunately, a lot of people get into them. So you'll want to pay very close attention to that. Now, again, bonus reminder, I've also put in 100 market ideas for you using the criteria that I personally use myself. All right. So then the next phase, AI branding. I'll show you how to work with AI, how to pick your market, all this kind of stuff so you can set up your faceless brand. And then, yes, I'm going to give you the prompts so this can be as copy-paste simple as possible. Then from there, we're going to get into content, and that's with AI and then OPC. So if you're not familiar with OPC, it just means other people's content. Okay, so yes, content must be published. If you are going to have a business in this day and age, you must be publishing content. If you're not, you're not really in business. All right, but the good news is you don't have to be the person always making it. So how to use AI to pick, how to use AI to create, how to use clipping and other people's contents the right way, because there is a right way to do this, okay? And then how to outsource and automate pretty much the whole process, okay? It's a wonderful time that we live in where you can do that. So there you go. Next time, the next piece we get into is launching. So once you have automated your content publishing system, I'm going to show you how to grow your audience, even if you're starting from zero, because this is exactly what I have done in every single faceless business I've ever launched. This one technique. Okay, this is how I have been able to go from zero to however many. Okay, I use this technique to this day. Single best way. The reason I do it is because it works, it has worked, and it's continuing to work. To grow your followers, it grows your subscribers, all that kind of stuff. All right, now let's get into the thing you're probably excited about. Show me the money. All right, so once you're up and running, I'm going to show you multiple revenue streams you can start from day one. All right, so how to set yourself up to be able to earn income when somebody subscribes to your stuff. And this is also, I'll go deeper into how I turned print on demand into pure passive. It really is. Again, you have to set it up, and then once it's set up, you don't need to get in there and noodle with it a bunch. Now, how to get paid when people watch your videos, that's a cool one. And then how to earn a lot more money by offering sponsorships in your newsletter. And again, how to automate that stuff. and more, of course. So let me give you a quick clarity on money. I have mentioned this before, but I think it's important. So there's a belief a lot of folks have that it can take 12, 24 months, and you have to grow this audience to like 1 million people before you can see your first dollar. That's just not true. Okay. What I mean when I say you can set it up to begin earning income from day one is there's things that will pay out very quickly if people do them. All right. So you're not going to make $10 million in the first 36 minutes. I mean, let's just be very clear about that. At the same time, you don't need to put in years of work and effort before you make your first dollar. There's a happy medium. I showed you a graph about that, just a minute ago. But there is more stuff, and I did this because I mostly like that picture. So here's some bonuses. Again, 100 profitable niche markets. Did that for you so you don't have to deal with it. Then I'm going to get into the 5 most profitable newsletter formats, what they are, how to pick your best. I'm going to show you all these different styles, how to use AI to write this stuff, because that was a big one for the years at a time, is having to become a really good copywriter. Well, good news. You don't have to anymore. You can let the machine do it for you. And then where do you put this ad space? How do you maximize the money with that? Okay. Then you're going to have the rapid fire action checklist. And so this is how you can get organized, execute quickly. It's a very, very quick single item action checklist that you can literally print out. And FYI, if you're a course creator, this is the thing that I have always wanted. It's something where I can take, hey, here's a bunch of information, read through it, and then be like, oh shoot, I forgot whatever this thing was, and then trying to go back. No. Now you just print it out and there it is, or just keep it on your computer or something. All right. So we have bonus. We have automated brand sponsors. I'm going to show you how to automate this whole brand sales thing, how to find, market to, and get that stuff going so that you can sell space in your newsletter and on social. Truth be told, this is where the majority of the money that I've made has come from. Was from these kinds of sponsorships. I could have made more, like I told you earlier, had I gotten in there and really, wanted to work with them directly, but I just didn't like doing that. That wasn't my thing, so I didn't, okay? So grab your copy. We got examples of my own faceless businesses, step-by-step instructions, how to use AI to pick a market, how to use AI to build your brand, how to use AI to create your content, how to grow your audience from 0 to 5,000 is what's on the screen, but it can be whatever you want, however big you want to go. How to easily set up 5 revenue streams from day one, how to position your faceless business so paying brands come to you. And I'm going to give you all the AI prompts to take all of the stuff that typically would be very cumbersome and time consuming and difficult. And I'm going to make it very quick and easy for you as long as you're using AI. So then again, 100 lucrative markets, rapid action guide, automated brand sponsors, and the top 5 most profitable newsletters, and how you can make these things with AI. All right, now this wouldn't be an online sale. Come on now, if I didn't also do a 60-day money back guarantee. So try it out 60 days. If for whatever reason you're like, I think I'd rather have a bagel, we'll give you 100% of your money back. For whatever reason, you don't like it, you didn't read it, who cares? Just reach out, let us know, and we will give that back to you. You can keep all the stuff you downloaded, totally cool. And we're not going to ask you a ton of questions. You're just going to have, thanks for trying out the program. We have processed your refund. Ta-da. So there you go. Buy my stuff. I think you'll like it. All right. I think that this might be the thing that you've been looking for that can help you get over that hump of not being able to succeed. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the inside. All right. I'm Johnny Andrews. Thanks for watching this video. Buy my stuff. Have a good time.